Hello, and thank you for joining us for this encore presentation of one of Viking's most special itineraries. Our friends at Cruise Travel Outlet look forward to building the trip of your dreams. And at Viking, we look forward to welcoming you on board. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining Traveling Virtually with Viking. We truly appreciate the support of our travel advisors and their clients for taking the time to be with us today. Before we get started, I would like to remind you that our virtual chat and question box is open, so please feel free to type those questions in as we go. We'll answer them during and after the presentation. And now, I'd like to introduce you to Sandra Marshall, Viking Director of Business Development. Sandra started her career in the cruise industry 25 years ago and has worked exclusively for small ship cruise lines. She has spent the last 14 years at Viking and has seen the amazing growth of the company from a river cruise line to now a river, ocean, and expedition line. Sandra?
Hi, Michael. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session of Traveling Virtually with Viking. I'm going to talk about the Rhine River and some of the spectacular things that we can see, like the castles and the cathedrals, and why this might be a good option for you for your first river cruise. If it's your first, attempt at a river cruise, or if it's been, another option for you. If you're thinking about, I've done the Danube, I've done some of these other ones, which ones should I do next? I'd love to talk to you about the Rhine and hopefully convince you that this is a great option for you. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to take myself off the screen here so we could see the presentation. Alrighty, so let's go ahead. As I say that, it's not forwarding. There we go. Okay, so the Rhine Getaway is our main Rhine River cruise. And you can see, as it says here, it's an Amsterdam Basel cruise, 8 days. We're going through 4 countries. So let me just show you the Rhine River. So it's pictured here on the screen. The red line shows you where our cruise follows the Rhine River. And the Rhine is culturally and historically one of the great rivers of this continent. It flows about 800 miles from the Swiss Alps into the North Sea. And what's really been significant about the Rhine is that it's a major transport route through Europe. And then you can see down toward the bottom area, it is the border, serves as part of the border for France and Germany. So a lot of great cities are on the Rhine River. Again, it's been in use for many, many, many years as transportation. So if we take a look at our Rhine River cruise, you'll see that we're going into the Netherlands, we're going into Germany, France, and then Switzerland. So let's take a look at this kind of on a day-by-day journey. So typically, our guests come into Amsterdam. You can also start in Basel, Switzerland if you choose, but for our purposes, we'll start in Amsterdam today. Now, Amsterdam is a charming city. It's got these great canals, these amazing gabled homes that are kind of squished together and look like they're leaning against each other. Lots of great museums. You've got the Rijksmuseum, you've got the Van Gogh Museum, you've got a great modern art museum. So there are lots of things that you may want to do in Amsterdam. If you want to, you can come in early and spend a few days. Viking does offer an extension package, if you will, before your cruise, where you can stay in a hotel and look at some of these things. Of course, another thing a lot of guests want to do in Amsterdam is go over to the Anne Frank house. Many of us read The Diary of Anne Frank in school. So that's also something to do. And now keep in mind, look at the bicycles there. There are thousands of bicycles. It's a great mode of transportation for many of the people that live here. So, it's just a friendly city, easy to walk around, easy to explore. And I find it a fabulous, fabulous town to just, walk around. You can attempt riding a bike if you so dare, because they're experts on the bicycles there. So anyway, so we'll start off our trip in Amsterdam, get on the ship, and then we'll head into Kinderdijk. Now we're staying in the Netherlands, and the Kinderdijk area is a UNESCO heritage site. Many of these windmills were built in the mid-18th century, and there's a huge concentration of them, of course, in the Netherlands. But in this area, we'll be able to walk through a windmill, learn how they were built, and see all the mechanics. You know, I found it interesting in that, you know, it's like a house. The windmill master has his bedroom and his kitchen, you know, his family lives there. So very interesting to see how that has helped control the water levels in the Netherlands. And then we do have a great optional tour here if you want to go over and see some of the Dutch cheese making in progress, the great Gouda cheese, right? We also have on board, you can taste some of these cheeses, as well as the Geneva, which is a local kind of distilled, what are those berries? Juniper berries. So it's a juniper liqueur. You know, every country has that kind of liqueur that just, you know, gives it to you, right? So that's the Dutch version. And in Kinderdijk, we literally dock a few steps away from where we'll start exploring these windmills. So again, one of the things about river cruising that I really like, and I try to impart with a lot of our potential guests, is that the ships are smaller. So we're getting into a lot of these places in the heart of the destination, short walks, and you can be in the heart of the area that we want to explore. And that is a perfect example in Kinderdijk. So if you're interested in doing some, you know, stretching your legs after the tour, you can do so. Kinderdijk is a small enough town. You can rent a little bicycle and ride around the town with a bicycle if you want. So great place to visit. And then on day 3, we arrive in Cologne, and Cologne is one of the largest cities that you'll find on the Rhine River. It's the 4th largest city in Germany, and it's got an amazing Roman heritage. So when you're exploring the city, you're on our tour, you'll see a lot of the ancient ruins scattered throughout the town. And we, again, dock right here. And so it's a short walk into the heart of Cologne. Again, that is the best thing. I can't say that enough about river cruising. You know, you're just right there in the heart of it all. So we'll do this fantastic tour of Cologne. We'll go over in that amazing Cologne Cathedral that you see on the right-hand side, known as the Dome, is kind of, you know, the landmark of Cologne, as well as it's a great place for you to kind of get your bearings around the city itself. Incidentally, if you're into chocolate, if you're looking at this promenade here, head over to the left, because the Swiss chocolatier Lindt has their chocolate museum right there. So again, you know, I always tell people, when you're talking about a river cruise, it is a touch it, feel it, taste it sort of experience. And so you want to do those things in these places that we visit. And so another thing you can do if you're interested in tasting it is we offer a beer culture dinner tour. So it's a fancy way of saying, I guess, a pub crawl, right? So we'll go to all of these different little places in town, try the local beers, and then we'll end up having a great dinner, trying some of these German specialties. So day 4 brings us into Koblenz. And Koblenz is a, you know, country town. It's at the confluence of the Rhine and Mosel rivers. And it's was founded over 2,000 years ago. And what we will do here is we will go over to Ehrenbreitstein Fortress up on the hilltop. And you can see the cable car. We do take that up there to get up to the fortress. And of course, it's high on the hill, so you have a great expansive view of the river below in Koblenz itself. So that is Koblenz. You'll find that we start to see some of the castles that you'll find on the Rhine River here. And one of the optional tours you can do out of Koblenz is visit the medieval castle Marksburg. And Marksburg is amazing in the sense that it has never been destroyed, and you can walk through Marksburg Castle and see a lot of, you know, how it would have been if you lived in a castle in the Middle Ages, right? You know, how the kitchen was set up, how the stables were set up. And now in the stables, they have all these interesting torture devices of the Middle Ages. So, you know, you get a feel for what it must have been like to live in those days. So we will be entering kind of this Middle Rhine stretch of the Rhine River, and it's the most spectacular area. It's the most scenic, if you will. You'll find that the river has cut a deep and winding gorge through these, the mountains that are on both sides of the river. You'll start to pass a lot of the vineyards. You'll see them blanketing the hilltops or the hillsides. And then the interesting thing about this is those slopes are so steep that the vintners still have to pick the grapes by hand. You know, there isn't kind of a mechanism, a mechanical device that can do it because the slopes are so steep. So that's pretty amazing when you think about some of the great wines and wine regions that we find along the Rhine River. Great Rhine wines, right? Say that 5 times fast. Anyway, so we do see many castles on this middle stretch of the Rhine. I believe it's, you know, over 40, if memory serves me right. So you'll get your fill of seeing castles. And then, you know, we do offer narration as we cruise, so that, you know, someone's pointing out what castles we're seeing and kind of the history and the background of those. So that's a great kind of day of river cruising on the Rhine. And then we'll come into Rudesheim. And Rudesheim is in the area, it's the center of winemaking, really. And what it's known for is the Drosselgasse, which is a pedestrian cobblestone street, and you can see part of it here. It's lined with taverns and shops. And so it's a great place to explore and try and, like I said, taste it experiences. I don't know if you can make it out on the little chalkboard there, but over to the very left, it says Rudesheimer Cafe. So it's a specialty here in Rudesheim. It's a specialty coffee. And what they do is they flambe either mostly brandy, but sometimes cognac and Armagnac. And they add a little sugar. They flambe that to burn off the sugar. And then they add coffee and top that with whipped cream. It's so delicious. So if you're in Rudesheim, you must try that. Or then, you know, you can also try all of these great specialty foods that are listed on this board here. But lots of little places like this, little taverns, like I said, to go and explore and wander around. And what's nice, because it is a pedestrian area, you know, you can just kind of meander around and not, you know, have to pay attention to, you know, is a car coming or anything like that. So then we arrive in Speyer, and this is kind of, you can see it's a charming, charming town. We do see Speyer Cathedral. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's the one in the middle, not the 2 tall ones. So it's got 4 towers and the 2 domes. I hope you can make it out. It was founded in 1030. And it's considered one of the most important Romanesque monuments from the Holy Roman Empire. So there are other cathedrals as well, but you will see many of these amazing cathedrals along the Rhine River. So that's why we call this a Castle and Cathedrals tour. Let's see, what else do we want to say about Speyer? It's got this great main street that has this impressive clock tower at the old town gate. And another thing you can do if you're interested is from Speyer, you can go over to Heidelberg. And we offer an excursion, which is fabulous. You go over to Heidelberg and you have lunch with the university students. Now, Heidelberg University is the oldest university in Germany, and it attracts students from all over the world. So it's an interesting lunch you will have, because we have lunch with different students, and they're not necessarily, students from Germany. They're students from around the world who have interesting stories on how they selected Heidelberg University, the University of Heidelberg, to attend. And so that is a great, it's a great opportunity to talk, to kind of get the local feel of this area. So that's Heidelberg and Speyer. And then we'll arrive into Strasbourg, France. Now, Strasbourg, France, this is that Alsace region of France. So it's been controlled by Germany and France, and Germany and France at different times throughout the history. So it's got a great influence of both countries. And the cuisine is a little bit different than what you might find in other parts of France. And so we do offer Alsatian wine tasting, where you can also try some of this Alsatian cuisine. If you can see from the picture there, it's like a fairy tale. There are all of these half-timbered homes. It's kind of, I say it's an island because you can see a lot of these waterways and these bridges that connect the different parts of the city. And then Strasbourg is incidentally, what am I trying to say? Incidentally, the seat of a number of European institutions like the European Parliament, the Council of Europe, the European Court of Human Rights. So very world-class city, very international city as far as many of the people that you'll find in Strasbourg. One of the fun things you can do if you're wanting to is head over to the Mercedes-Benz factory out of Strasbourg. It's an optional tour we offer, and you don't even have to be a car aficionado. It's just an amazing excursion to see the robotics and the high caliber mechanics that are going into making some of these cars. And then we head into Breisach. It is kind of the Black Forest area of Germany, one of the warmest parts of Germany. It's across the river from Alsace. So, that's a great wine producing, wine growing area. And so you'll find some great wines in this region. And then the other thing that the Black Forest is known for is cuckoo clocks, right? So we have the opportunity to see a cuckoo clock demonstration. We'll see how they make them, learn a little bit of history. You can also learn to make the Black Forest cake. So that's our experience in the Black Forest. I always warn people, if you think you're going to buy a cuckoo clock, make sure you think about where you're going to put it in your house, measure the area, because they have everything from small, ones that you put on your desk to huge ones, and I always find it funny, and I share this story all the time because every Rhine River cruise I've been on, people will come back to the ship and share stories about how they bought these cuckoo clocks and they didn't know they needed a cuckoo clock, but once they got there, they, fell in love with it. And, of course, they will ship them home to you. So it's easy enough, right, for you to buy them. But so that's that area of Germany. And then we end up in Basel, Switzerland. And Basel is situated near the borders of Switzerland, Germany, and France. It's a very cultural city with a lot of art galleries and theaters and more than 40 museums. There's some great art museums. There's a great modern art museum. And then it's got this amazing medieval old town that centers around the Marktplatz, which is kind of the big market square. And it has this amazingly colorfully decorated 16th century city hall that kind of is the hallmark of that market square. And what I love about that market square is this is where you'll find a lot of the farmers who bring their seasonal fruits and these delicious Swiss cheeses. And you can walk through there and buy some of the yummy produce. And And, you know, I've been there in the spring, I've been there for Christmas markets, and there are different, you know, they have seasonal produce. So, you know, sometimes you'll go and you'll find these great berries, and then, you know, in the winter you'll find apples and different things like that. So it's a great place to hang out. I love that sort of thing. And the other thing that I find amazing about Basel is when you're walking around the town, you find all of these ornately decorated fountains, water fountains, and they're old, you know, ages and ages old, but they're throughout the city, and it's perfectly great drinking water. So you'll see, you know, even the locals just stopping by and having a drink of water. So that is Basel, Switzerland. And again, you can start or end your trip in either city. And then we do offer extensions. So as I mentioned, Amsterdam, great city, lots to see and do. We do offer a 2-night extension package. The hotel is centrally located that we utilize. And so it's, as it says here, it's near Market Square and the Anne Frank House. So some places that you definitely want to see when you're staying in Amsterdam. You can also do an extension that takes you to The Hague and Amsterdam. So if you want to see The Hague, want to do something a little bit different, you can do that. And then if you're ending up in Basel or starting, you can do it before you cruise. We have a 2-night extension in Basel. As I mentioned, there's lots to see and do in Basel. It's a charming city. So you can do that. You can also go over to Lucerne, Switzerland, if you want to. So you can go over and see Lake Lucerne. You can see the Chapel Bridge, you know, this amazing backdrop here. So some options there. And then we also have the alpine backdrops of Lake Lucerne in it. This is a 3-night package. And so you'll learn about the local cheeses, the raclette, and then some of the chocolates, right? Because I think Switzerland is known for chocolates. The Swiss chocolates are some of the best. And then another extension you can do, the Great Homes, Gardens, and Gin, is going over to Highclere Castle in England. So we will visit Highclere, you know, which is the home of Downton Abbey. And then we'll also go over to Prince Charles's home and see his gardens at Highgrove House. So if you want to add on a little stop in England, you can do so as well. And then for those of you that want to head over to Italy, you know, it's not too far away. So you can go over to Lake Como and spend 3 nights in Lake Como. And again, amazing, breathtaking, as it says here, breathtaking alpine peaks. Hopefully you run into George Clooney, right, ladies? Or I shouldn't say ladies, anybody might want to run into George Clooney. So, alrighty, so that's Lake Como. So if you're cruising with Viking on the Rhine River, we will be hosting you on one of our long ships. And the long ships are they carry 190 passengers, and they are fabulously designed in what we're known for, the Scandinavian, you know, with the light-filled, open, airy concept. So the idea with these ships are really, you know, you're on a river, there's always something to see on both sides of the river. So we have floor-to-ceiling glass, as you can see where the couple is walking down, a lot of floor-to-ceiling glass, because we want you to be able to see the outside. We want to bring the outside in. And we have a lot of these great light woods, and it's kind of that Scandinavian modern feel. I find it very serene and relaxing. And that's really the idea of the design of the ships. So you'll see here, this is the guest services desk, and it operates sort of like the front desk at a hotel would. And you'll interact with a lot of the staff that are working the guest services desk. And they're there to assist you if you want, you know, walking maps of some of the towns that we'll be stopping in, or you want some advice on where to go for certain things. They are more than happy to help you out. If you turn around, you'll find that you will see the staircase that takes you up to the third deck. It also will take you down to the first deck. In that right corner toward the back is the elevator. It's got kind of that frosty blue-white feel to it. And that elevator takes you, again, between the second and third deck. Okay, so this level and then the level above it. And if you walk behind the stairs there, you'll get into the restaurant, the main restaurant. And what's great about the restaurant is it's open seating. We offer meals 3 times a day, you know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. And you can sit with whomever you wish during the time it's open. So sometimes, you know, some people are traveling with close friends and they end up sitting at the same table with each other. But, you know, when I travel, and I often travel by myself, I try to mix it up and, you know, sit with other people, meet new people. And what's great about it is it's a small ship. So people are super friendly, really interesting people travel with us. So I love to hear their stories and their experiences. And many people tell me, oh yeah, you know, we're traveling with Bob and Mary, and we met Bob and Mary 10 years ago on our first river cruise with Viking, and we've done, you know, 3 or 4 since. So it's that sort of camaraderie and that develops on board the ship, which I love. So again, the restaurant, the main restaurant on board our ships. And then if you go up to the third deck, you'll get to the lounge and the bar. Now we do include beer, wine, and soft drinks with lunch and dinner. And anything you would buy at the bar would be an additional cost, but we do offer a beverage package. So definitely talk to your travel advisor about these things, because they can help you decide, you know, is it worthwhile for you to buy the beverage package? Is it, you know, worthwhile for you to come in to Amsterdam or stay on in Basel? And they are there to help guide you. They're knowledgeable about these destinations. And so I definitely recommend that you reach out to your travel advisor for those recommendations. And then you can see behind these chairs here, there's a little dance floor. So we always have entertainment in the lounge. Let me go over to the lounge. Here we go. So you can see there's a piano there. Sometimes we have, you know, a duo, a combo, you know, pianist and a singer. So they'll play, you know, nice cocktail music before dinner, and then they're always there after dinner. And like I said, you can see part of the dance floor there. So I have been on cruises where people are really into dancing and they clear out a lot of some of these chairs to make more room. And then I've been on board where, you know, there's a few couples dancing and then everyone else is kind of sitting around having an after dinner cocktail. So that is our lounge. And then if you head toward the back of the lounge, you'll head into the Aquavit lounge. And this is great because it's kind of an atrium space, great place to kind of relax and read a book or just socialize with your friends. And then it heads out to the Aquavit terrace. And I can't stress enough how much I love having my meals out here. If you are cruising with us and you're cruising, you know, and the weather's great, definitely have a meal out on the Aquavit terrace. We have early riser breakfast out here as well as kind of a late riser breakfast. So if you get up before the main restaurant is open, you can come out here and have breakfast as it's pictured. We also serve lunch out here, and lunch is great because usually they have different salads and different hot cooked items. And, you know, the menu is slightly different than the main restaurant. So you know, you can always check to see what's being served in the main restaurant and decide where you want to dine. And same with dinner. And dinner is lovely in the evening to be out here as we're cruising by some of these great cities and towns is just a wonderful experience. Now, think about the rivers as well. We do go through some locks. So in certain areas, we do. And it's a great opportunity for you to have that experience up close where you're seeing that all work in front of you. So going back into the ship, we do have a library. It's a great lending library. A lot of the books are based on where we're cruising. So on the Rhine River, many of these books will be talking about the settlements along the Rhine, the history of the Rhine, etc. And then we also have kind of a swap out library section where, you know, guests finish a book and they leave it, and then they take one that another guest has left. So that's kind of fun. And then we do have complimentary ship-wide Wi-Fi, but if you don't bring your own device, there are computers here in the library that you can utilize, you know, if you just want to check email or send an email or something like that, you can do that here in the library. And on the top deck, we do have this great sun deck. So remember, when we're cruising that Middle Rhine area where we're seeing a lot of the castles on both sides of the river, this is a great place to hang out and sit and listen to the narration that's going on. And you can see, you know, both sides of the river. So if they're pointing to, you know, the right-hand side or the left-hand side, you can see both sides and really enjoy that part of the cruising. What else was I going to say about this? There's an organic herb garden up here. There's a little putt-putt golf if you want to do something like that. So again, great place to hang out, especially when it's a beautiful day of cruising. But it's also lovely to be out here in the evening, you know, after dinner, if you want to just go up to the sun deck and just have a relaxing evening. So as far as the staterooms go, we have several different categories, and I want to believe that there is something for everyone's budget and taste. So let's take a look at some of them. One of the features of the French balcony is this great floor-to-ceiling sliding glass door. And a lot of people choose this because you can have those sliding glass doors open. You can get that fresh air flowing throughout your stateroom. As you can see, the beds are European king-size beds that can be separated into two separate beds. We've got the nice flat screen TV. You can see the bottled water is provided. It's replenished upon consumption. We also provide complimentary water bottles when you go out off the ship on your excursions, so you don't have to buy water. That's complimentary. All of the staterooms also have a mini bar, or not a mini bar, a mini refrigerator, I should say. So if you're doing some of these great excursions on the Rhine River where we're visiting wineries and you happen to buy some wine, some local wines that you find, you can bring them back to the ship. You can store them in your refrigerator. We do not charge a corkage fee, which is great when you're finding a lot of great regional wines, right? You can bring it back to the ship. You can take it down to dinner, and they will serve it with your dinner. Again, it's nice because there is no corkage fee. And that goes the same with if you find that you really like the Geneva in Amsterdam, and you buy some of that, or, you know, any of these specialty excuse me, specialty drinks. I know some folks buy the German beers when we're in town. So definitely you can do that, and you can store it in your mini refrigerator in your stateroom. So the French balcony, that's what's pictured here. Most of the staterooms on our long ships would be what's pictured here, the veranda staterooms. So those are 205 square feet. And you can see they've got this nice little veranda outside where the two chairs and the table are. So if you are wanting to be able to sit on your own veranda and enjoy a glass of wine out there, and, you know, as we're cruising, be able to just enjoy that, take a look at our veranda staterooms. They're very, very nice, and again, offer you that opportunity. And then we have two different categories of suites on board. We have the veranda suite, which is pictured here. It says it's 275 square feet. The veranda portion of it is attached to this living room. So if you can see the chair there behind that is the veranda. And then a separate, separate bedroom is pictured toward the back there. And that bedroom does have that French balcony, you know, that sliding glass door. Okay, so the veranda suite. And I think we have a picture of the bathroom. All of our bathrooms are wonderfully designed. They have these glass enclosed showers, lots of counter space and shelves to put your things away on. We provide toiletries in the stateroom, fogless mirrors. If any of you are wanting to go on some of our cruises during the Christmas market season, one of the great features of our bathrooms are that we have this heated tile floor in the bathroom. So there's a little button you push and it heats up the floor. So, you know, if you come in from wearing your boots because it was snowing outside or something, you can go stand on the nice heated floors. And then the other category of suite we have on board is the Explorer Suite. And you can see it's 445 square feet, nice living room size, right? That is a nice area to relax and enjoy. You know, once people get wind of you that you're the one in one of the 2 Explorer Suites, so you might have to host a little get together in your living room. So just be warned. And then there is a great veranda. It's kind of a wraparound veranda, if you can see around that living room space. Okay, and then there is a separate bedroom, and then the bedroom has the French balcony attached to it. So we like to talk about Viking being the thinking person's cruise, because we are really trying to create an experience for curious travelers, lifelong learners, you know, people that want to go to these places and really explore them, but also learn and understand and come away a little bit more knowledgeable about the places. And that means, you know, you're understanding the food, the culture, the customs, you've experienced more, you've tasted the foods, you've experienced some of these opportunities or learned more about, you know, the specialties of these areas, whether it be wine or cuckoo clock making or whatever it might be in the region that you are. And so we do try to offer that with the included shore excursions. Now, again, we include one in every port. And then we also have the culture curriculum where we have lecture series on board. We have talks about the destinations and the places that we will be visiting. So, you know, again, we really want to offer a in-depth sort of experience with the destination. So of course, when we're cruising, we always end up talking about food for some reason, right? And so we do feature destination-focused dining. We do provision locally sourced ingredients and try out, you know, authentic regional dishes. So you'll have the opportunity to try some of, again, the local specialties. We also have always on the menu American classics because most of our clientele are from the United States. So you'll see this yummy lamb, roasted filet of lamb that they serve on board. And we've got these great signature taste of events where on the Rhine River, it's often Taste of Germany night one night. And, you know, the staff will be dressed in the lederhosen and the dirndls, and we'll have papa music, a little band playing throughout dinner, and everything being served that night will be a German specialty item, something that you would want to try in Germany. So we've got the German schnapps and the German beer and the German wines, and then we'll have the different sausages, you know, crackling pork and a lot of the, you know, German potato salads and pretzels, you know. So again, we want that immersive experience with the destination. So again, I mentioned some of the excursions that we do along the Rhine River, and there are several different categories of excursions that we offer. So make sure, you know, talk these over with your travel advisor. They certainly will be able to direct you into the right sort of experiences that you would be interested in. But do know we have included shore excursions, like I say, in every port of call, and then we have some optional tours. The category which is pictured where it says privileged access, those are usually optional tours, often because they are limited in the amount of people that we can take. It's a smaller group experience. So just know that. And then just as to recap, what do we include? The philosophy with Viking is we want you to have this culturally immersive experience, a great vacation, but we also want to offer you great value. So with that, we do include a short excursion in each port of call led by a knowledgeable guide. It is a fully escorted experience. Of course, all onboard meals are included. As I mentioned, we do feature regional specialties. We have a choice of multiple dining venues. So you've got the restaurant. You also have the Aqua de Vie terrace if you prefer. We include beer, wine, and soft drinks with lunch and dinner. Specialty coffees and teas are complimentary and available 24 hours a day. What I love about that is if you want a cappuccino in the middle of the afternoon, you can have one. If you want tea after dinner, or before you go to bed, you want to take a cup of tea with you, you can do that. And there's always little snacks by those coffees and teas. So if you want a little cookie to go along with it, you can have one of those too. So bottled water, as I mentioned, is available in your stateroom, complimentary. It's replenished daily, and we also provide it for you when you go off the ship. We have free Wi-Fi, ship-wide Wi-Fi. If you're considering staying in one of our extension packages, we always use first-class hotels. So oftentimes they're selected where they're located in the city. So a great jumping off point to explore that particular city. And then we've got an in-room infotainment system that features movies on demand. We also have a satellite feed so you can stay up with the latest news. And then we do include all port charges and government taxes in the prices. So your travel advisor won't have to tell you it's, $3,000 and then we still have to add on, $300 for port charges. It's all included. So definitely please reach out to your favorite travel advisor to talk to them about a Viking Rhine River cruise. If you're interested, they can also let you know, if you're wanting to come in early, staying on late, what cities you might want to do, what excursions you might want to take. They can direct you in, what season you might want to go based on your interest. I mean, definitely utilize your travel advisor. They're the travel professionals and definitely can help you make the most out of your vacation. So with that, I want to say thank you. Thank you for attending our presentation this morning or this afternoon, depending on where you are. And we look forward to welcoming you on board a Rhine River cruise sometime in the future. Thank you. Are there any questions, Michael?
Yes, so we had a few questions, and the first one was, of course, this is more kind of opinion-based, but what would you recommend, upstream or downstream on this itinerary?
Yes, I think it is more opinion-based because I don't believe there's too much as far as itinerary that's different if you go in either direction. I actually like to start in Basel and then end up in Amsterdam. I like to stay on a couple of days in Amsterdam at the end. And that's just a personal preference. I feel like when I go in that direction, I'm going with the flow of the river as well. So there's something psychological about that. But yeah, it's a personal choice. It really depends on what you might want to do beforehand or after. And the nice thing is you can choose. You can choose either direction, March through December. Basically, is when we offer those. So
great. And then another opinion-based question: what is your personal favorite time of the year to take this cruise, and why?
Oh, okay. That is such a difficult question. Okay, so I love going in the spring because there are lots of things to see. You can go over and see the tulip fields in Amsterdam and the Netherlands, some of those areas. If you want to, you could go over to Keukenhof Gardens where I think there's like 7,000 bulbs that are planted or something amazing. Very scenic, lots of greenery in the spring. I also like the fall because you'll see some fall foliage along the way, especially a lot of the vineyards are yellow and orange and beautiful colors. And spring and fall I like because they're not as crowded as the summer months. And just personally speaking, I try to avoid the summer. I like more spring and fall. But I must say, I'm a big, big, big fan of Christmas markets. So I don't mind going, late November, early December, because I feel like that's just winter wonderland. It just kicks off the holiday season for me. So I know that wasn't a very succinct answer, but hopefully that helps you out a little bit.
Perfect. And then there were two additional questions. I think they're very specific to, actually consulting with your travel advisor. But the first question is, where would you typically fly from after seeing Lake Como with the extension?
That is a good question. I am not even sure about that. So yeah, definitely talk to your travel advisor about that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we've gotten a couple questions specific to the extension. So I think, it really would depend on the time of year, when you're actually going, what air is available and the current air pricing, all of those different things I think really would make a difference. So, okay. And I think that's actually it for questions. I don't see anything else. So thank you so much for your presentation, Sandra.
Thank you. Thanks for joining me, everyone.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for taking the time to be with us today. Again, if you have any additional questions on this itinerary or any of our Viking itineraries, please be sure to reach out to your favorite travel advisor. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.